Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Paint Mind Studio. My name is Diana and today I'm bringing you a special edition video showing you highlights from my most recent trip to Mallorca, Spain. And what would be an artist travel vlog without art? Of course, there's lots of fun outdoor sketching that I will be sharing with you, quite a bit of it actually. So we were in Mallorca for 6 days, including the day we got there and the day we left. We arrived in Mallorca in the late afternoon and we'd gotten up that morning before the sun had even come up, so by the time we finally arrived, we were pretty exhausted. We spent that hour or two before sunset unpacking and enjoying our beautiful room at the resort we were staying at. After that, we had a bit of a late dinner and enjoyed the beautiful views for a little bit. Then we went straight to bed and fell asleep immediately. This was the view from our room. Can you believe it? We were in beautiful Cala Mesquida. It's about an hour outside of Palma and on the opposite side of the island. Our first full day was completely overcast. The colors everywhere were pretty dulled out. Nothing looked vibrant or inspiring. However, it was a hot day nonetheless, so it was still nice just to be at the beach and have the water right there to cool off in. The beach cove at Cala Mesquida is one of the larger ones on the island. You've got mountains on the right and mountains on the left. Where we were sitting, the lounge chairs and umbrellas were situated behind us. They are not free, you have to pay to use them. I think it was 19 euros for the day. On the left-hand side were all the hotels and resorts. The resorts especially are made up of several buildings. It took me a while to find a view to sketch, but after about 10 minutes or so of looking around, I finally settled on this simple scene. There was a cruise ship right in front of me, and out of all the surrounding mountains, the ones on the right looked to be the easiest, and since this was going to be my practice sketch in a way, I didn't want to do anything too involved. The ship was pretty far over to the left though, so in my sketch I just placed it closer to the mountains for the sake of the composition. Here I'm just working on what's essentially the underpainting. The underpainting is when you put on light washes of color before building up the values and adding details. I'm putting color on the people I drew. It's always good to add a few people here and there. It helps with scale and perspective in relation to the surroundings, especially if you add people in different areas, some closer and some farther away. These two girls were sitting there for quite a while, not moving much, just reading and talking with each other, so I was able to take my time sketching them in. And here I was all done. It was relatively easy, and even though there were a lot of people around, I only included a handful. The muted colors I used are of course a direct reflection of how overcast it was. I had fun sketching this though. It was calm and peaceful all around me, so there was no pressure or stress or anything like that. Then it started raining a little bit, so we packed it all in and called it a day. That brings us to the end of day 1. Look at those beautiful colors in the horizon. Day 2 was a gorgeous day as far as the clear blue skies and ocean breeze were concerned. Unfortunately, the waves were insane. They were too strong and the riptide was also too strong, so the red flags were up at the beach and they stayed up the entire day. If you're not familiar with the flag system in the beaches of Spain, green means it's safe to go in the water, yellow means you can go in with caution, red means going in the water is forbidden. There are a few others such as blue, which means perfection, black, which means don't go in the water under any circumstances because of hazardous waste or the like, and there's also a white one with jellyfish on it that is self-explanatory. With the sun shining, the day was a lot hotter than the day before, so it didn't make sense to hang out at the beach if you couldn't go in the water to cool off. We did briefly contemplate hiking in the mountains across from the resort since there are several beautiful hikes available, but it was just too hot. We spent the bulk of the day hanging out at the pools in the resort instead. Later on in the day, we decided to go inland and explore the area. We went to Capdepera. It's a beautiful historical mountaintop village dating back to the 1300s and is known for its ochre-colored buildings. Originally, the village was constructed to protect the citizens and shipping lanes from invaders and pirate attacks. We then made our way up to Castel de Capdepera. There I am! It's like spotting Bigfoot. This original 14th century castle fortress remains to this day and still has a few intact buildings, including the church, which I'm standing on top of there, and a building known as the Governor's House, which has been converted to a museum. Since the castle is located on top of the highest mountain, it offers amazing views. I didn't have a chance to sketch anything while here because when we got there, it was 15 minutes to closing and I was too busy looking around, reading the information plaques and everything. After visiting the castle, we also briefly visited the Capdepera lighthouse, known in Catalan as the Far de Capdepera. All of the signs in Mallorca are mainly in Catalan. We were only at the lighthouse for like 5 minutes though, since it was already later in the day. All we managed to do was take a few pictures of it. It's not the easiest to get to by car either. Most people just hike up. Anyway, while at the castle, I took a lot of pictures to use as reference for future projects back home. If you'd like, I can do a video showing you how to draw and paint all these ochre colored structures. Let me know. Day 3 was another beautiful day. The sun was shining, it was hot, nothing but green flags up at the beach. We were finally able to just hang out on the sand, in the ocean, and just enjoy the day. So after swimming around for a bit in the water, I sat out in the sun and dried off. Then I was ready to sketch. For my second sketch, I decided to do a scene similar to the one I did on the first day because with the sun shining full on, the colors were so different and the whole atmosphere was just completely different from before. Everyone was having fun, everyone was lounging in the sun, getting their tan on. I was no exception. You can see how much more vibrant my colors were on this day. This time we were sitting closer to the right side of the cove, so I was noticing some details that I'd missed in my first sketch. For instance, there were a couple of old-looking small stone structures on the mountainside, so I decided to incorporate them into my sketch. And of course, I also added a few people. I love how this sketch came out. So that's pretty much all that was done on day 3. Then we headed back to the resort for dinner. The kids soaked in the jacuzzi and we just enjoyed all the evening liveliness. There was always something going on in the evenings at the resort. Day 4 was another beautiful day, pretty much the same as the day before. So we went back to the beach. This time for a sketch, I finally plucked up the courage to capture the left side of the cove, which has a whole bunch of buildings. I also added more people than the previous 2 sketches. Overall, it was a challenge. There was a lot more going on in this scene, but I felt confident that I could do it, or at least give it a try, right? Why not? I also used my masking fluid from Schminke, which I showed in my previous Mallorca video, just to make things easier for myself. I'm so happy I used it. That bracelet on my wrist, by the way, was the key to our room at the resort. Instead of giving out key cards or actual keys, people are given bracelets. You keep it on the entire time you're there and it never gets lost. Mine ended up getting a little bit too tight though, and it was making me anxious, so I had it replaced. They will do that for you. The resort also provided us with a beach umbrella. All I had to do was ask. I do speak Spanish though, so I don't know if that had anything to do with anything, but I found the people of Mallorca overall to be extremely friendly and accommodating. You couldn't ask for nicer people, really. In case you're wondering, that black sketching board or support board I'm using is one I made myself for sketching outdoors. It has a strip on the back for my hands so that I can hold it comfortably, especially when it gets windy. It's about the same size as my sketchbook and weighs nothing. It was so easy to carry around with me and work on. It also really helped to keep the sand out of my paints because it kept my palette elevated. My water cup, on the other hand, was down on the towel next to me, and that got sandy every time, but not my paints. Most of the buildings up on the mountain there are white. The easiest way to paint white buildings is to focus on their shadows. So to keep it simple, all I did was paint the areas of the buildings that were deep in shadow. Then I added some windows and doors, of course, to the buildings to bring them to life a bit. Finally, at some point, I started working on the people I drew. My little people drawings are extremely rudimentary. They might as well just be stick people. But I'm going to tell you a secret, guys. Stick people is all you need. It's a travel sketch in a sketchbook. The people are only in the image to help add movement and depth to the sketch. They're not there to be professional portraits. The idea is to have fun while outdoor sketching and to capture your experiences. So be kind to yourselves. If you haven't done it yet and you want to try sketching outdoors, just do what you can. Make it easy for yourselves. At the end of the day, it's about capturing a moment of your life in a fun way. And now another fun sketch done. I'm also really happy with how this one came out. I did end up fixing the boat in the back a little later in the day. I just forgot to record it, but know that it looks a little different now, much better in my opinion. Afterwards, we hung out at the resort, explored the grounds, and had another delicious dinner. Day 5 was our last full day at Cala Mezquida, and I really wanted to take it easy that day. I didn't want to spend too much time sketching. I wanted to swim more and sunbathe more and read more, so I kept my sketch super simple. I basically just did the view that was directly in front of me. The blue sky, the beautiful turquoise waters of the ocean, a boat, and some people. That was it. It barely took me all of 30 minutes. The sketch from the day before took me 2 hours, and the other 2 sketches before that one took me maybe 1 hour each, just to give you an idea of the amount of time I was giving myself. So I did have plenty of moments to just enjoy being with my family, being at the beach together, and doing all the nice, relaxing things that most people like to do when spending whole days at a beautiful beach. And that's it. My last sketch on location in Cala Mesquida, Mallorca, Spain. And surprise, surprise, I'm very happy with how this one turned out too. I'm ending this video with some footage we took with my son's action camera underwater. There were lots of little schools of fish swimming around and even a few larger whitefish that you could only really see if you looked for their shadows. Thanks for being here and for coming along on this little adventure with me, albeit virtually. I really hope you enjoyed it and that you're feeling inspired to sketch on location somewhere. And please don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Lastly, stay safe, stay hydrated, keep on creating, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!